Hey everyone, welcome back to Relational Empowerment. Today is Wednesday, January 2021. It's been a little bit since I posted the last video. Transitions, seasons can require recalibrating our schedules and looking at our priorities and making space. So sometimes that takes time, and the reason that I share that with you is to encourage you to give yourself a little bit of grace when it comes to maybe not doing things in the timing that you might want to do them in. It might be hard on yourself sometimes. I know I've tended to be hard on myself. I still am. I'm a lot easier on myself than I used to be. But I know we tend to have high requirements of ourselves, especially a high achiever personality type, and tend to be hard on ourselves, critical of ourselves if we're not meeting our own requirements. And so I'm just sharing a little bit of my process so that it can encourage you to give yourself a little bit of space for transitions. I know as I work toward my degree, I have those seasons where I take the summer off to kind of rest and focus on other things. But when I go in and out of a semester, there's this huge shift that requires recalibrating. Just like when you drive a car, you might be going straight and the road doesn't seem to be turning, but the wheel turns, and if you just let go of the wheel, it's going to take you off course. And so you have to kind of hold the wheel steady, and that's what recalibrating looks like in our lives, is that there's, like little things that move us from here to there, and so we recalibrate. We just go like, okay, this new thing has just happened, and we're going to transition well and come through this new season, and just give ourselves a little bit of space to readjust, refocus, reset our priorities, because what was a priority maybe in December is not a priority in January. And so I just want to encourage you to give yourself space to do that. It will help you to transition well, because if you look at yourself in the light of not performing to the level that you would prefer to perform, you will always tend to look back and do so in a place of criticism and condemnation and being hard on yourself, which is not productive. It will keep you in that stuck place, or in the moving, looking backward place. Looking forward and saying, okay, I could have done better with this area, so let me look at how I can learn from that experience and do better through that experience, as opposed to looking back and being hard on yourself. So forgive yourself, give yourself space for transitions, be kind to yourself, create space to just do something nice for yourself based on whatever's affordable for you in that season. It might just look like, like a bath bomb from the dollar store, or whatever matters to you. Just stopping for an ice cream, if that's what your health preference is, whatever is according to your health preferences and your lifestyle preferences that are good for you, not destructive. So taking yourself out for a light lunch is good. It's nice to treat yourself, take yourself on a date, so to speak. Don't just wait for time to go with other people, and don't just wait for time to go, for a reason. How about let yourself be the reason? Say, I'm worth just taking this time and space and a little bit of my budget toward taking care of myself, because I know that I need that space. And doing that will allow you to be more productive. It will help you to be more equipped to accomplish the things that you might have on your goals. Just give yourself space. Breathe deep. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself to recalibrate from season to season. Seasons are unavoidable. They happen in life. They are for our good. They are for our transformation, where we become, like the classic reference to a moth becoming a butterfly is they have to go through a season, and sometimes those seasons are really tense and tight, but what emerges is really beautiful. And that is something that happens for every person. We just don't necessarily know it, and sometimes we don't, when we don't know it, we might not get the full benefit of it. We might not walk through it as well as we could if we were aware of what's taking place. So I just want to encourage you, in the area of self-awareness, to be like, what changes have just occurred in my life, changes that are beyond my control, that I had to roll with the punches. When you, maybe your house isn't as clean as you want it to be, and yeah, that's a good, healthy discipline to maintain your home, but there's an unhealthy side of it, which is perfectionism, and that can be toxic to yourself and toxic to your relationships. So important to just give yourself some space, give the people around you that you might share space with some space to have seasons where things are going to be a little bit messy. They're not quite the way that you would prefer them to be. Just don't allow it to get out of control. Just go, okay, I had to step over here and focus on this for a little bit. It got some of my attention. But now that I've gone through that season, and you go back and you look at your house, and you're like, oh my gosh, I really let this go behind. Don't beat yourself up. Just go like, wait a minute. I just went through a really challenging season, whatever that could be, and give yourself space and say, well, now that I'm through that challenging season, I'm just going to take one task at a time. One task at a time, people. Some of our brains process in a way that a diagnosis would call ADHD. I consider it to be a gift for specific purposes that unchecked can be disorderly, but I don't consider that to be a disorder. I consider it to be something that needs to be honed in on and worked in a way that is beneficial to your life, so that you can maximize your potential to do everything that you are on this earth to do. And so sometimes people whose brains operate that way tend to see a big list of things to do, and that list of things to do, when you see the size of it, can be really overwhelming. And for me, because my brain processes that way, something in me sees the size of that list, and almost just, it can be the simplest, easiest things to do that each take a few minutes, but when I see the list, something triggers and it shuts down and almost paralyzes me. Recognizing that happens, I'm now able to say, okay, I can take that list and break it down into smaller lists based on priority. Okay, let me put a star by everything that needs to be done today, and then kind of number them by priority. Like, I have to do this today. That would be good to get done today, but that's a possibility that if things don't go exactly to the minute the way that I've planned, I can allow that to go tomorrow, but this has to be done today. And so taking and recalibrating the way we make our lists and reprioritizing things can help us to create order in our lives, to manage it in a more functional way, to where once you've broken those things down into lists and taught your brain and your emotions not to shut down anymore when they see it, you can then later on, as you've progressed, put it into a whole list, and then leave that list and then prioritize it, and you'll find yourself getting mentally and emotionally stronger as you practice these small disciplines over a period of time. And how that correlates with relationship is, if we're hard on ourselves, I guarantee you're going to be hard on the people around us, right? We're going to be hard on the people around us to the degree that we're hard on ourselves. So I'm always beating myself up for not performing to the level that I think I should be performing to. I am going to project that onto other people, expect them to perform at a certain level, and if they don't perform at that level, I am going to put pressure on them that I shouldn't be putting on them. So our own individual emotional and mental awareness leads to a level of wholeness, becoming a whole person that's fully aware of everything that's functioning in our spirit, soul, and body, mind, will, and emotions, all those layers that make us the beautiful people that we are. The more aware we are of them, the more equipped we can be to figure out how to function as ourselves and then give people the space to function as themselves. We can learn how people communicate and interpret what they're saying a little differently because we understand ourselves, so we can better understand them. It's so fundamental for relationships. It's so helpful. You'll find yourself experiencing much more peace throughout each day, and then the sum total of your whole life. You'll be able to handle pressure better. You'll be able to handle diverse situations better. You will adapt better to the changing of seasons. So I want to keep it short. I think 11 minutes is enough. That wasn't even what I came on here for, but I'll just stop and record the next video for you to talk about. So have a good day. Yeah.